mark on LeBron's legacy that the East is so doo-doo?
I don't. I think it's it's just his dominance. It really is. And, I don't think it's a mark on his legacy or anything like that because it is some good teams out there. If you look at Toronto, which they just swept, you look at Boston.
Toronto's a good team?
Yeah, they're a good team. Good enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You look at Boston, you look at, obviously the Washington Wizards with that dynamic backcourt with John Wall and Bradley Beal, but the Eastern Conference is the LeBron James Invitational. It's just sad to say, but he's that dominant, of a player, and that's what it's come to.
Now, you're very high on John Wall.
Absolutely.
You spoke a little bit about that. I'm not with you on Toronto, but you think that if the Wizards get past the Celtics, which I think that they will, do you think that they will be able to get a game?
A gentleman's sweep.
Gentleman's sweep. I love that.
4-1.
It's that's you have to admit that's kind of brutal though. It's brutal for fans at least. There's no hope.
It's better than just going out there and just getting swept 4-0. You at least want to say that you scratched them in the fight. That you got one win. And that, you can build off that. But to say that you got a donut, you went out there and went 0 for Winfrey, that's a problem. That's a problem.
0 for Winfrey?
Yeah,
0 for Winfrey.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got gentleman's sweep and 0 for Winfrey. But do you think that, there was a lot of talk about how the Cavs finished the season, from the All-Star break. Skip brings it up all the time, how they finished the season. And were they going to flip the switch? And obviously they're playing the Pacers, which is like, and I'm not with you on Toronto. Also not a surprise to me that they got swept. But do you think that when they hit some real competition in the finals, where they will be, that it'll be just like, or they're just going to get right to it?
Listen, coming out of the Western Conference, you look at a team like Golden State. Kevin Durant is using this second round and obviously the Western Conference Finals to tune up. I don't see Cleveland beating them. I don't think they can.
So you think the Warriors are winning it all?
I think the Warriors are the favorite.
Warriors in
6.
Warriors in 6?
Yeah. It don't go 7. I think Warriors in 6. But at the same time, the more rest that the Cleveland Cavaliers get, the better off they are. And, LeBron James rested and, full of energy, it's going to be a problem because he's still the best player on the planet.
So you think that they're going to win in 6, but who do you think the most important player on the Warriors is? We're always discussing, because they have the big 4, I suppose you can call it. Who's the closer? Who do you think the most important player is on this Warriors team?
To me, I would have to say, and it was the same as last season, I would have to say Draymond Green. And when Draymond went out last year, you saw that the momentum of the game changed. And that opened up the door for Cleveland to come out there and, steal the series. The energy of the series changed. And when he came back, the best player on the planet in LeBron James, they picked up that momentum swing and they just rolled it on out to win the series.
I think Draymond was the most important player on last year's team. Mm-hmm. I still think that Draymond is incredibly important. I actually think he got kind of an easy pass for getting suspended. Because if he had just kept himself under control and not gotten suspended, I think
back to back.
I think they would have won. I think as far as the media goes, I think he got a little bit of a pass for getting suspended. Because as soon as that happened, to me, I was like, that's a series. Like if they're going to lose that game, and he's the glue. But I think this year, Kevin Durant has shown how much they needed him.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be the key in the finals, at least to me.
I can agree with that to a certain degree, just because I think Kevin Durant is going to be a guy that's going to wash, like him and LeBron's performance is going to wash each other out. And then obviously Steph Curry and, Kyrie, they're going to be a wash at the point guard position.
Right.
And then you look at the 2-guard position where, if Klay Thompson is scoring the ball at a rapid rate, and then you look at, J.R. Smith or Sharpe or whoever's at that 2 for Cleveland. But I still think that the X factor and the guy that facilitates and do all the little things and, to bring that energy and that effort and that edge and the sense of urgency night in and night out is Draymond, and that's where, Golden State have the edge.
He's getting into space.
Yeah, he's going to do something. And then now you look at guys like David West and Matt Barnes at the end of the bench, where you didn't have those guys last year, and their sense of urgency for winning a championship now is different. You know what I mean? Like they can police him. Matt can go to him and be like, Draymond, look, Hey, don't do that, man. Like, we need you out here.
They need someone to calm him down every once in a while. I love Draymond. Draymond and Westbrook are two of my favorite players in the league right now, mostly because they're villains, and that's my thing. Do you think that Steve Kerr being out for the rest of the season will hurt them in the finals? I don't think it's going to matter until the finals, but do you think it will hurt them?
I don't, just because Mike Brown is battle-tested, and I think this is his chance for redemption, to lead a ball club that's, ready-made and ready to, do great things, over the hump. And, like you touched on, you got Kevin Durant, you got Draymond, who's a villain. You got all these guys and these components that's just ready to win ball games and ready for that, that second crack at Cleveland. And, Mike Brown's a great guy to lead them in that direction.
We're going to take a couple of fan questions in just a second, but before we do that, I want to ask you real quickly about your project with Mark Wahlberg,
Mm-hmm.
Tough Juice. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, signed the rights deal to, make it a biopic and, signed on Jason Liu. Just finished the script treatment. That was extremely special. I'm excited about that whole process. We just finished the last treatment on the script, so going to take it to Mark, in the next couple weeks. He's filming Daddy's Home 2 right now in Boston, so I'm excited about that. And, I read over the script. I love it. Been a part of it the whole process, the whole way. And it's
awesome.
It's special.
That's in the works. And you want, it would be a dream if Michael B. Jordan would play you?
Yeah, I love Michael B. Jordan. I love his work.
Who doesn't love Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
I love you, Michael B. Jordan.
See?
If you're watching,
Hey, Mike.
you should know that.
You saw this?
Yes. Hey, boo.
I'm not going to say that, but big ups.
No, he was amazing in Creed, though.
Yeah, he was. And, they're doing part 2 of that right now, too, so that's going to be special.
That's awesome. All right, well, we ready for some fan questions? All right.
Squad.
Yeah, see? Huh? I got
She got
a
hands.
little bit. This is from Josh. Will LeBron shut KD down in the finals?
I think he'll make it difficult, but, KD, easy money sniper. I think he's a guy that scores in his sleep. It's going to be difficult to shut him down, but he definitely can make the process difficult. But it's going to be the same way on the opposing end. Sometimes your offense is your defense, and, KD being aggressive on the offensive end is going to make it difficult for LeBron as well.
We're good? All right, we're going to play the emoji game. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think LeBron up against KD, it's going to take a little back and forth. I'm taking LeBron in that one-on-one. All right, we're going to play the emoji. Well, I can be objective about LeBron sometimes. All right, you're excited for the emoji game. That's good. All right, so we have our emojis. If you haven't seen this before, I'm going to read a quote. You're going to pick. Are you an emoji guy? Are you like Kristaps?
Yeah, I am.
You have a favorite emoji?
I only do the emoji thing with my wife.
Okay, I can understand that.
I don't want to lose my street cred, so I try to
You need your street cred, I agree. Although I feel like you have enough build up, you don't have to prove yourself. But I'm a big emoji user, and Kristaps Porzingis is obviously a big emoji user because we all know you didn't get hacked, Kristaps. Facts. So, by the way, couldn't you just he screenshot it like these isn't what my usual emojis. Couldn't you just have someone else send you their emoji screen? We're on to you. All right, it's fine.
Olivia Pope.
Yeah, exactly. Hack. All right, so I'm going to read you a quote, and then you pick your emoji response to it. All right, so
cool.
This is LeBron James on his legacy. What else do I have to prove? Seriously, what else would I have to do? I've won championships. I've won my first one. I won for my teammates. I came home and won. There isn't anything I have left to prove. And that's after Game 3 in Toronto. And I'm going to go with this one. You love it. All right. So why do you love this from LeBron?
Well, he delivered a championship to Cleveland, and that's something that I know I know you 305 all day.
I know.
Right? Yeah, I know.
It killed me. It killed me.
But at the same time, he won a championship for Cleveland. I think that his legacy is intact. But now you want to continue to raise the bar and continue to stay goal oriented. So add on to your legacy.
So why do you like it?
I like the fact that he understands that the pressure is off of him, and he don't really have anything else to prove.
This season of it, all seasons in his career is basically like his wash season. If he doesn't win this year, we're still gonna give him a hard time because he's LeBron. But there's no way after coming off of bringing a championship to Cleveland that he has the same amount of pressure he usually does.
Hey, he's about to film Space Jam. Come on.
I'm so out on that. I think this is funny because he said before the season starts that he's chasing Michael, and you're not catching Michael, we know that, but if you're chasing Michael, you still have a lot left to prove. So, no, you're funny.
I like
Kevin
that.
Durant, on his flagrant foul. Oh my God, I love this. That's why our league is soft. He said actually that's what he said. That's why our league's soft. Is how he said it. I love this. What? Smiley face? What are you smiling about?
I like it too. I don't love it, but I definitely found
I love
some
it because
joy
it's
in
Kevin Durant and it was clearly a fake flagrant foul. He shoved Gobert in the back. I mean, I get it, but like if you're talking about Gobert being soft, but that was a flagrant.
I mean, it wasn't a flagrant back in the day, and you don't want to get too far removed from, what built this game to what it is, and I like it. I mean, you like an edge. It is the playoffs. You like hard fouls. You like a little hand checking. You know what I mean? You want to dance with people. You want to get a little more physical and touchy out there. I like it.
I like it too, but it's just that was a flagrant foul. KD has a little bit of edge
flagrant?
to him. He's got a little edge. He's sneaky with it though.
Yeah,
he took a step and shoved him in the back.
You got to be a little sneaky with it.
I like it. I'm just saying. It's a flagrant. Come on. All right. Ty Lue on coaching the Cavaliers. It's the hardest job by far. He said this on ESPN's NBA Lockdown podcast last week, and he's talking about specifically the scrutiny that the Cavaliers are under. I'm gonna go with this one. I did an Instagram video on it. You can check it out at Joy Taylor Talks. Sad face? Why?
I mean, I don't feel bad for you though. You know what I mean?
No. Nobody feels bad for Tyler.
Yeah, I don't feel.
Many people.
I mean, you done great. You inherited a great ball club with the greatest player on the planet on it, and you was able to get a championship. So I don't feel bad for you. Just continue to do what you're doing. Continue to do great things, man. And enough with it.
Ty, come on, Ty.
Come on, man.
Come on. It is not the hardest job. You don't have the hardest job. You don't even really technically have to do anything because LeBron coaches the entire team. So you just get to wear a nice suit and speak to the media.
He do be clean on that sideline.
He has nice suits. He's nice suits, but it's not the hardest job. That's not even. No, we're done. We're done with that. All right, DeMar DeRozan on LeBron. If we had LeBron on our team too, we would have won. He said this last night after the Raptors got swept. What am I doing? I'm doing. You know what? I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm not gonna go with doo-doo every time. What's this one? Laughing with tears? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Listen. I don't even think it's okay for you to think that. But at the same time, if you do feel that way, don't let everybody else know that you feel that way. And
Is that soft?
Yeah. I mean, you're one of the leaders of the ball club. It sends a bad message for years to come because you're going to see LeBron for the next 6-7 years in the Eastern Conference. Granted that you be there, you just signed a long-term extension, and he knows that he has the psychological edge over you, and you don't want him to know that. And you just spilled the beans. So that's how I feel about the situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with sad. It's I mean, I just wish there was more competition. I wish there was more drama. I like the drama. The Raptors, I'm not going to call it an embarrassment, but that's an embarrassing way to end the series is if we had LeBron on our team, we would win too. So basically, you just never had a chance. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for playing. God. Move it along.
Views from the 6.
Exactly. All right. We're going to take a few more fan questions. You can throw it over here. But before we do that, I want to ask you, so what do you think about this $495 shoe that
what happened?
Lonzo Ball is
Stacey Adams? What are you talking about? Stacey Adams or the
putting out there. Would you buy a $495 basketball shoe?
What, do it make me do something different?
No. If I spend $500 on a pair of shoes, it better drive the shoes better drive me home from work.
Yeah, it gotta walk me places. Mm-hmm. It gotta do all those things.
It's like a phone also.
Everything.
Yeah. So you're against the price.
Yeah, and I'm a baller too. So it's I don't know.
No, I want to know what you actually think. What do you think about it?
I don't.
What do you think? Let me put it this way. Obviously, you think the shoe's too expensive. We agree on that. Do you like the fact that they are at least doing their own thing?
I love that fact. I love the fact that, he stepped out there in a lane where, what he's doing has haven't been done. And you look at some of the guys that are stars and superstars in this league right now. who have that appeal to a larger demographic and audience, if they was independently like doing their own thing, just think about the capital that they would have, from it. So like you tip your hat off to them on that front, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you got to be smart about it, and just starting off top with $495 without a build up. Like you even saw Kanye West with what he did with, Nike and Louis and going from different things, and the prices wasn't always astronomical. So now you get to the point where now he have the Yeezys, and he's making, he's selling out in 5 minutes, and it was a process to that. So just the first time you drop some, it's like, man, I want a nickel.
Well, also, Kanye had a little bit of a career established before he went into the whole fashion realm. He had like a few albums with success before that happened. So, to me, Lonzo Ball has more pressure on him coming into the league than maybe since LeBron.
Yeah, it's self-inflicted pressure though. It's like you don't have to put that pressure on yourself, but it's like you're placing it upon yourself. LeBron's stuff was more like he did say he was the king, but everybody else saw the greatness in him.
LeBron has the chosen one tattooed on his.
Yeah, you can be the chosen one for a lot of things. You can be the chosen one to
Caron.
Get up early in the morning. You could be
Caron.
I love the golden child.
We know,
it could have been the chosen one for that.
We know why he has that on his back.
Okay, all right. I was trying to.
You're trying to remind him. It's okay. We got it. All right. All right. We're gonna take a few more questions before we let Caron go. Carl, where does Kawhi rank amongst the best players in the NBA?
Top 5. Definitely top 5.
So LeBron won.
LeBron is number 1. I would have to say Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and then it varies. You can
Kyrie.
You can go Russell Westbrook,
John Wall.
You can obviously go John Wall. You can go that direction. After that is but he's definitely top 3 or 4.
Skip would disagree with you.
How about this guy?
All right, let's see. All right, Eric, thoughts on Chris Paul and the Clippers?
I think they should retain him. I think he's the key to, them, going forward. If you look at the legacy of the Clippers, that's a team that started at LA Fitness, in the locker rooms, and then now they got their own facility. You got a winning culture. I think it's about putting fans in the seat. And Chris Paul's done that. He changed the culture, being a winning culture here, 50-plus wins for, I think, 5-6 straight seasons. Playoff appearances, division title. If you lose a guy like Chris Paul, floor general, and amongst other things that he do from corporate side and everything, you take a significant blow, and you got to start back at scratch.
So they should not blow it up with Chris Paul.
No, you should not blow it up. But it'd be interesting to see what happened. But I do see a guy like J.J. Redick possibly leaving. In this market, he can go somewhere and get 60, 70, maybe possibly $80 million.
They're going to have to shake up something over there.
Yeah, some things got to change.
That's for sure. Caron, thanks so much for joining us. Heat in the playoffs next year?
Yeah.
Yes!
I roll with that.
Real 5 till we die. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Salute.